All right, how's everyone doing? I am Rich Chalenza. Thanks for checking out the Rich Chalenza Show. So, what I want to talk about today is LinkedIn and recommendations. And the reason I bring this up is because about a month or two ago, somebody hit me up, maybe more than one person, asking me to write them up a recommendation on LinkedIn, and I was happy to do so. And, I don't know if you're on LinkedIn, but for some reason I gravitate towards that social media platform. I don't know why. It's very, to a certain degree, white collar, very polished, something, I guess, more corporate orientated to a certain degree, but I like it there more than actually any other platform. I mean, of course, I like YouTube because I get to watch videos, but I like it better than Facebook. I like it better than Twitter, Instagram, or anything else. I don't know why. But I remember when first going on LinkedIn, a lot of people were kind of wanting to build up these recommendations at the beginning. So they'd hit me up and say, hey, I'll write one up for you if you write one up for me. And I was like, of course. So I did some. And then a couple months ago, I started to look and I was like, wow, I've received some. I'm not going to say I haven't, but I haven't written anything for anyone else, really. I haven't really been paying attention to that. I have actually, as well, I've built some things. It could be for my program or for some, maybe my books or whatever. And people have given me reviews online. I have tons of reviews all over the place. And sometimes I would just say, hey, that was very nice of you to write a review or, whatever it is. And I have them on my websites. Can you throw it on my LinkedIn recommendation? And they would say, of course. All they had to do basically was copy and paste it. So I kind of was getting my fill, but I honestly wasn't, I think, to a certain degree, reciprocating. And so I just said, I'm going to spend, every day writing up at least one recommendation to somebody who I truly respect, somebody I've worked with, somebody I know. And I wanted to do it without any expectations of them doing anything else in return. I just wanted to be spontaneous. And I wanted to be truthful. And I didn't want to bullshit. I wanted to say exactly what I wanted to say. Send it. If they like it, they can upload it, or they can delete it, or they can make some changes that may fit them better. And I started doing this, one here and there, and I started to like doing it. And then I started to send them. And the response I got was unbelievable. And believe me, I'm not doing this to toot my own horn that I'm all of a sudden some guy that's always willing to help others, and I don't, all these, doing it for that. I did it for myself too, I think, because a lot of times I've been very self-obsessed creating a lot of my own content, and I'm very independent, so I'm by myself a lot. And most of the time I either correspond with only a few people actually, or online with a bunch of people, but it's more, emails, responding on comments. I do Zoom calls like everybody else, or with other people, don't get me wrong. I guess I do talk and communicate with a lot of people, but for the most part, when it comes to other things, I'm just for the most part, I'm by myself a lot. And when I was sending out these recommendations, I couldn't believe the response I was getting. And it was overwhelmingly positive. And a lot of people were saying, Rich, I was having a horrible day today, or you made my day, my week, my month. Thank you for saying what you said. And I was actually, when they were saying these things, I would almost tear up sometimes. I even had my godmother. I wrote her something out of nowhere. And, she's helped me with my screenplays before. She's helped me throughout my entire life. She taught me how to swim, all these things. And I didn't want to get long-winded on the recommendation, but I wanted to say what I wanted to say. And I sent it to her. And I'm pretty sure she said, I even want you to, I want you to read this at my eulogy. And I was like, oh my God. And I was just going back and forth with another one of my cousins who we were going back and forth on LinkedIn. First, she was leaving some comments on something I posted. And then I noticed, actually, believe it or not, a long time ago, could have been a year or two ago, or maybe even longer, she said, hey, would you mind writing me up a recommendation? And I didn't do it. And I saw that today. I'm like, what the hell? But I remember this because I said, I want to think about this, because this cousin as well helped me with my first book. Actually, it was kind of like a skeleton, my first book, The Model Bible. But she's always been there as well, even when my daughter was sick. My daughter had a liver transplant when she was 1, and her and her father, amongst many other people, I'm not going to start listing everybody, but they were like really the freight train behind it, had a big gathering. And, they raised a bunch of money, for my daughter, for her medical bills, and I'll never forget that. But I saw that recommendation. She requested it, and I never sent it back. And then we were going back and forth today, and then I stopped everything and said, this is what I want to do. I'm going to write my cousin a recommendation. I don't care how busy I was and all the things I had planned. I sit down, and it just rolled right out of me. Sometimes when you're writing a recommendation or when you're writing a review or something, or writing anything, for me, if it flows out of me, it's so natural, it's honest, it's genuine. If I kind of struggle with something, it's almost like I'm phoning it out. It's kind of phony. But this, I wrote in 5 minutes. I said, this is exactly what I think of my cousin. I wrote it and I sent it to her. She just hit me back and said, I made her day. Thank you so much. And she's at this point in her life. And sometimes too, when you reach out to somebody unexpectedly and just do something kind without, just doing it, you don't realize sometimes the impact it has on other people's lives. But what I'm trying to say here too is when they hit me back and thank me, it's a huge impact on my life as much as theirs. And I'm not writing this for self-gratification, I guess, to a certain degree. I'm writing it just because I want to write it. But to make somebody else feel better makes me feel incredible. And if you have anybody out there and here's the deal, it just doesn't have to be a recommendation on LinkedIn. And I'm going to mainly stick this to writing. It doesn't mean you got to send a text saying, I love you and blah, 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 which you're more than welcome to. Go do whatever you want, or an email, this or that. But if you have somebody out there, especially, that you don't even know if they're struggling or not, a lot of people, because we just don't know. But if they're artistic, or they, they're on LinkedIn, or they have a book, or they're on WordPress and they have a blog, a vlog, a YouTube page, even things, they may be creating and writing up something, or taking the time out. Because I'm going to wrap this up with this. I went and met a guy named Arthur. Somebody connected me with him, and I ended up going and meeting him last week. And I went there. We had a great time. I went to his house. We had some coffee, corresponding on the internet. I'm showing him some things. He's showing me some things. And then he was gracious enough. He has 2 books. He signed them for me. I was very touched by that. And I'm going to read both books. And then I'm going to have my mother look at them as well. And, he's probably not going to hear this. And maybe I'll let him know afterwards. That's the type of person. Now, even though I just connected with him, I'm going to write a recommendation. Because I wrote something on LinkedIn. I took a picture of both of his books and I posted it, and it made me feel great. And it looked like he really appreciated that, along with a lot of maybe his colleagues and everybody. And again, even if you're having a tough time in life too, I will officially wrap it up with this. A lot of us wait for somebody to kind of save us, or you're just waiting for something good to happen to you all the time. Maybe when you're kind of down in the dumps, this may sound crazy, or you're going through hard times, you're trying to figure things out. That, I believe, a lot of times is the time to kind of reach out and help others. And it's not that they have to come back and help you, but that's the type of thing, I think, that will help lift people. A lot of us are looking to be lifted when we're down, and I understand that. But a lot of times, you may be down, but once you start helping someone else, you'd be shocked that may lift you up. That's just my theory on all this. So I'm going to keep it there. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up at richchalenza.com. I have a program, and I do image consulting for men. It's mainly to help them find the woman or women of their dreams, even if they've been through a bad breakup or divorce. I just like helping men in any way I can. It could be wardrobe, hygiene, fitness, and that's all I really got for you today. But don't be surprised if you do listen to my podcast if I send you a recommendation. All right, take care.